Snekhalokasmohanavadanam Karunardranata Nayanam Ramyam Shrudajanapalanavyagram Saumyam Amritanandamayim Pranamami. Om Amriteshwariyai Namah. Om Premamridanandamayai Nityam Namo Namaha. Premamritanandamayai Nityam Namo Namaha. I humbly bow down at Amma's lotus feet. My namaskarams, love and greetings to all the youngsters gathered here from all over the world, from Bharatam in particular. Normally when we meet each other, you youngsters especially, how do you greet? Hi, correct? Good morning. Hi guys, right? And then anything, hi bro, hi bro. And then anything for the other gender, the feminine gender, hi sis, okay. But our culture, this great heritage, teaches us namaskaram, the best way. We are one. And I bow down to you because you are divine. You are part of the infinity. And you bow down to me, and both of us become one. Like, even though all the 10 fingers are seemingly separate, they are one. So, I request all the youngsters here, once you go back, I mean, not always, maybe not in the college, or maybe not at workplace, but whenever you get an opportunity, whenever you see each other, try to say namaskaram. Will you? Will you? Yes. Together. Yes. Louder. Yes. Dear ones. Very good. And this is one of the most beautiful occasions, a memorable one in the history of Mata Amritanandamayi Mutt and in the history of you. It's so heartening to see all of you together in this most sacred land of Amrita Puri, the abode of Amma, Sadguru, Sri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, the Supreme Master. We have masters in every single field of action, right? Zakir Hussain is the master of tabla. And then, actors are there, celebrities, business magnates. But They're only masters in that particular area of action, but not in other areas of actions. But here we have in Amma the Supreme Master. My dear brothers and sisters, it is joyful to be in the presence of your brimming, youthful energy. Young men and women from across Bharatam, it is indeed a great inspiration to see your readiness, fervor, and love to serve our motherland. Are you ready? Are you ready to serve? Yes. Very good. Serve the world, not just our country, but the entire world, but our country first. And your fellow human beings. So, dear ones, let me once again lovingly welcome all of you to the Ayudh National Leaders Summit. Suswagadam, dear friends. Brothers and sisters, the fragrant, elegant, and spiritually glorious future of this great land, Bharatam, the land of the ancient rishis. So be proud of our country. And which is our country? Bharatam. And now say, Vande Mataram. Very good. Mata Rani ki jai. Raise your hands, please. Raise your hands. Mata Rani ki jai. Wonderful. Dear brothers and sisters, we live in a society where everything is gradually getting westernized. Do you agree? Americanized, to be precise. Overlooking several of the good practices of the Western world, we, out of ignorance, have borrowed many unhealthy habits from their lives into ours. And let me ask you a question, a very simple question. I have been asking this question and I have been explaining this for the last year and a half. Okay? Some of you might have heard this, but I want to repeat it here once again. How do you celebrate your birthday? How do you celebrate your birthday? You will have a small or medium size or big cake, right? Depending on your finances, right? And then what do? You keep it in front of you and then your friends will gather around you. The family members may also be there. And then you light some candles. And then what do? You blow them out. You blow the light. And then after blowing the lights, actually fire is one. Right? Light is one. There is only one light. Fire is one. And you blow the light and then you sing, Happy birthday to you. Correct? And have you ever thought what you were doing when you blow out a lighted candle on an auspicious occasion such as your birthday? Have you ever thought of it? And do you know what light stands for? In any culture, light stands for knowledge. Light stands for love. Light stands for wisdom. Light stands for everything virtuous and beautiful. On top of all, light is symbolic of God. Light is symbolic of the universe. Just imagine a world without light. Just imagine a world without sunlight. Just imagine this hall if all the lights are turned off? How long can you be in a dark room? Light is everything. Light is life. So when you put out the candle singing happy birthday, it is equal to driving God and everything good, everything virtuous, everything beautiful from your life. And once light is gone, what remains is darkness. So knowingly or unknowingly, you are inviting darkness into your life, into your heart, into your house. And now my question is, my dear brothers and sisters, will you do this again? Will you do this again? Say in one, unanimously, will you do this again? No! No! A big no. Louder. No! Not enough, but maybe for the time being, that's okay. We have a great prayer in our culture. Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. O Lord, lead me from untruth to truth, darkness to light. Lead me from darkness to light, and lead me from death to immortality. However, unfortunately, the current generation will only understand emojis. Very respectful to them, right? Emojis. Like you call Sardarji, Panditji, emoji. So you only understand emojis and SMS language. And today youngsters have so many different ways to say I love you. Right? 143. And another one is 459. I did not, I wasn't able to figure out how that becomes I love you. You tell me later, right? Okay? 459. And there is that another way, Luvu. Just L-U-V-U. Luvu. And then Aili. What an ugly way. Aili, I-L-Y. And then there's another one, Ailuvu. I-L-U-V-U. I don't know how these letters and figures can communicate the same emotional fervor as saying, I love you. And if you are broken-hearted, what do? You draw an ugly picture, a diagram of a heart. I mean, so-called heart, which is separated, completely torn apart. And you see something like blood stains, broken-hearted. And if you're sad, then it's another emoji, another ugly one, stupid emoji. So there is an interesting abbreviation the youngsters use. P-A-W. P-A-W. The letter P, A, and W. No one really understands what it means. I had to really research to find out the real meaning of PAW. And PAW means parents are watching. So parents are watching, let us not do it now, do it later. So poor parents, they are not as educated as you. I mean, not educated. Poor parents, when they see their children sending messages, communicating like this, using figures and letters and formulas, they think that their children are seriously engaged in some serious group discussion of some complicated mathematical or algebraic equations and formulas, because they see 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 3, and then there's a PAW, and then say ILUBU. What are these things? It is said that ages ago, snakes had legs. Snakes had legs. Maybe it's just a myth, but still, it's a good example. And the snakes had legs, but they never used it. They never used it. When generation passed by like this, their legs slowly disappeared and they began to crawl like we see them today. The point is, when we don't use an inherent, inborn talent, which is natural to us, spontaneous to us, gradually we lose them. You're a good singer and you never sing. What happens to your singing talent, your musical talent? What happens? So it is. So the point is, when we don't use something really inherent to us, you lose it. So sooner or later, as more and more of these SMS abbreviations come into existence, I think the new generation will probably lose their thinking and writing capacities. Because you don't write anything, right? If you want to write something, instead of THE, you just write D. Instead of FOR, you just write 4. Instead of TOW, you just write 2. Or TO2, you just write 2. You don't write because. You don't write beautiful. You don't write love. What is going to happen? Because if you want to say something in an appealing manner, in an impressive manner, in an effective manner, in a powerful manner, you have to form your ideas within first. And then you have to express it. And what happens if you don't? You lose that capacity. There is a well-known prayer in our tradition which we chant. We used to chant, but I don't think we chant it in today's world. We used to chant when we wake up in the morning. The prayer is chanted looking at your open palms. Does anyone know that prayer? What is it? Karagre vasate Lakshmi karamadhe saraswati kara mooledu gauricha prabhade karadarshanam. Lakshmi, wealth, resides on the tip of your fingers, and Saraswati here, the middle of your palm, and health. Have you seen rowdies and hooligans in the movies? What do they do when they want to hit someone? They do this first. Health. Health, wealth, knowledge. Without these three, no one can exist in this world. But we need to, Amma says, we need to pray for 2 types of wealth, 2 types of knowledge, and 2 types of health. Inner and outer wealth, internal and external knowledge, inner and outer health. Then you create a balance. If you don't have any balance between health, wealth, and knowledge, it's no life. But in the modern day world, this sloka can be reworded like this. Karagre vasate cell phone. Karamadhe WhatsApp. Karamuleti. What is it? Facebook. Prabhade my Android phone darshanam. Everything is cell phone. Amma says everything is internet, but we need to develop the inner net. We should not forget about the inner net. So in order to live a happy life, it is important to remember and invoke the grace of all these powers. That's why we have Navaratri. The first 3 days, we worship Lakshmi because we need wealth. The next 3 days, we worship Durga Because we need health. And the next 3 days, we worship knowledge, Saraswati. And the last day, victory. When the balance is created. And why is it that Goddess Lakshmi resides at the tip of your fingers? Why? How do you count money? Right? Whether it is coins or currency notes. But there is also another significance. You can lose money at any time because it is at your tip of your fingers. So Amma says, because money can slip out of your hands, slip out of your possession at any time. That's why. So now, let us now get into some serious discussion. Do you know that our country has the largest youth population? Do you know that? And approximately how much? Anyone? 35.6 crores. That is 356 million between 10 to 24 years old. The largest. And this land, our land, where youngsters such as Adi Shankara, Jnaneshwara, Chhatrapati Shivaji, Swami Vivekananda, Subhash Chandra Bose, Jhansi Rani, Hati Rani, Rani Padmini, Lakshmi Bhai, Rani Lakshmi Bhai, Bhagat Singh, Ravindranath Tagore, Captain Vikram Bhadra. You remember him? Vikram Bhadra, who fought the Shargan of Kargil War, were born. This is the country where these youngsters were born. And some of them even died in a very young age, but they left a mark, a permanent mark in everyone's heart. How many people will remember, just a simple question, how many people will remember Shah Rukh Khan after one generation, after your generation? No one will remember. But people will still continue to remember Amma. People will still continue to remember Lord Krishna. People will still continue to remember Lord Rama. Even after thousands and thousands of years, they are still remembered. Amma will be remembered even after thousands of years. Correct? So these youngsters, they will be remembered. They made us proud. But why aren't these kinds of youths born again and again so that our nation becomes proud? Why don't we get such youngsters? Amma says youth is the midpoint of life, the most ideal time in a person's life to gain inner transformation, to cultivate healthy habits. It's a time when we are neither a child nor an adult. So it is the midpoint. You're neither a child nor an adult. It's a time in which when we can live in the moment. It's the ideal stage for training the mind. Of course, childhood is the most impressionable period, the most flexible period. However, a child's level of understanding and experience of the world are less. Correct? The advantage of youth is you are neither a child, totally ignorant about life and its ways, nor is your mind fully colonized, yet to be colonized, as in an old age. Correct? It's a period of changeover. If you have faith, courage, and determination, you can take big leaps. And that said, it would be unfair if I don't mention the dangerous path our youngsters are treading in today's world. While admitting the intellectual and technological capabilities of modern youth, we cannot completely ignore the alarming rate of erosion of values. And it is one of the most serious threats, crisis, that the younger generation is facing today. Value erosion. Amma says the face of human life known as youth is disappearing. They jump straight from childhood into old age. Because when you are young, you are so worried, you are so anxious, you are so stressed out. We live in a world where selfishness and cruelty is growing day by day. A teacher once asked a student, "Is the world round?" And the student said, "No, ma'am." The teacher asked, "Is it flat? Is it flat?" "No, ma'am." He replied, "Well, if it is not round and it is not flat, then what is it?" The teacher again asked. The child immediately said, "It is crooked." Even the child knows. He got it right. The world that we live in is crooked. Of course, humanity is facing fatal challenges such as climate change, global warming, etc. Nevertheless, one of the biggest hazards that humanity all over the world is facing right now is erosion of values in the youth. And this results in serious, sometimes even unresolvable and lifelong problems for our youngsters. You may have your own friends. When we don't practice certain fundamental values in life, you will develop inferiority complex, lack of self-reliance, lack of self-confidence, anxiety about failure, excessive stress, etc., which will destroy your life. That's why it is important to cultivate values. That's why it is important to have a master such as Amma, so that we can look up to her and feel inspired. And this kind of life, a life full of excessive stress, fear about failure, lack of self-confidence, will result in uncontrollable desire for pleasure. Because you have to somehow find solace. Right? How do you find that? The easiest way is to depend on pleasures. Uncontrollable pleasures. Pleasures are okay. Desires are okay. But you become totally out of control, which will end you up in big trouble. Then you will yield to peer pressure. Correct? Peer pressure, which will lead you to dangerous habits such as drug addiction or substance abuse and so forth. And it is reported that there are more than 500,000, 5 lakhs street children in India who live and work in inhuman conditions and are at high risk of substance abuse. And this number, they say the number 500,000 could be a drastic underestimation. Can you believe? Earlier, substance abuse or doing drugs was considered to be a problem of street children, working children, and trafficked children. But today, it's a problem in every campus. It's a problem in every school, widespread. And the future citizens of a country who hail from different socio-economic and educational status. Let me ask you a question. Who among you don't want to succeed in life? Who among you don't want to succeed in life? Anyone? Say yes or no. Do you want to succeed in life? Louder. Louder. Okay. Now tell me, what makes you a successful person? And when I say successful, it is not just earning money. In today's world, earning money and becoming rich may be the easiest. Correct? However, true success has more to it. Real success is when you are able to succeed in an honest and fair manner. Anything you gain in life, whether it be wealth, name, fame, authority, and whatever, using wrong methods, wrong means, will only help you to be known as a bad person, a selfish person, a bad example. You can see such examples everywhere. In politics, in movie, industry, business, all over the world. In families. And when you become like that, even your children, your own children, your family may not accept or respect you. And history has so many, even now there are many kings, emperors, dictators. They seem to have won. They had power, authority, name, fame, wealth, but people call that person cruel. So true success happens only when you uphold certain values in all circumstances of life, when you have observed a certain degree of self-sacrifice, most important, and determination. Then your success has a meaning and the world will accept you. I will give you an example from Amma's life. Most of you know Amma holds every single person who comes to see her in a motherly embrace. She is the mother of the universe. Absolutely no difference whether you are rich, poor, diseased, healthy, unhealthy, layman, employer, black, white, Indian, American, African, who has not taken bath for a month, smelly person, no problem. Leper, no problem. Everyone has a place in her lap. Everyone has a place in her heart. Every single person she holds to her heart, like a mother does to a child. Whether you are a Congress politician, communist politician, BJP, whichever political party you belong to, absolutely no problem. And Amma never declares any strike. There are no holidays, no vacations, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, throughout, within the country, outside the country, wherever she goes. And this is God. Equal vision is God. Love is God. Compassion is God. Patience is God. Forgiveness is God. And in the beginning, the example is this, the beginning. When Amma initially began to receive people by embracing everyone who came to see her, there is a lot of protest and disapproval from her own family members and the villagers. It's understandable. This was years ago, right? Amma is almost 65. So I'm talking about some maybe 55 years ago, when Amma initially started the whole thing. You can understand Indian scenario, especially the village. So from one angle, their disapproval was understandable because a young girl hugging people of all ages, regardless of gender, was not at all part of our culture. The family feared that it would bring disgrace and irreversible damage to the whole family, including all the blood relatives. One of their major concerns was that nobody from a reputable family would come forward with a marriage proposal for the girls in the family. So when all their efforts failed to stop Amma from continuing her way of embracing everyone, consoling everyone, wiping everyone's tears, one of her cousin brothers locked her up in a room and brandished a knife, threatening to take her life if she did not stop her way of embracing people. Amma was unperturbed, calm and composed. She did not even budge even an inch in yielding to the cousin brother's request. She calmly told him, "Kill me if you wish. But come what may, I'm not going to change my ways under any circumstance, because this is my dharma. I'm here for this. This is my life's mission, vision, and everything. I want to offer my life to the world to comfort and console the suffering people until I breathe my last. And I completely surrender myself to this cause." And having witnessed Amma's power of will, determination, the firmness in her words. See, when you are fearless, the person who is standing against you, he will become fearful. But the fearlessness has to be genuine. He will become fearful. The cousin was bowled over and left the room in utter desperation. And now we see a unique example of forgiveness. But later on, when this same cousin brother was hospitalized, Amma went to see him. So this unique example of forgiveness and fearlessness in this incident, such a brilliant example. Thus, if the leader is like a powerful light that illuminates an entire city, the followers will strive at least to be like a candle. It cannot be otherwise, because it is such a powerful example. As Mahatma Gandhi rightly observed, a no uttered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please, or worse, to avoid trouble. And Amma had all sorts of barriers, all sorts of limitations. You talk about limitations, you talk about your problems, right? I have this problem, I don't understand that subject, the teacher is not good, and I don't have the finances, the hostel is bad, the food is bad. You talk about all these limitations, so-called limitations. But Amma had all sorts of limitations, barriers. Gender limitation, being a woman, being a feminine form, born in a coastal village. Financial limitation, educational, her circumstances, family, society, everything was against. But she succeeded. She went beyond everything. Ultimate success. And now let me disclose a secret formula with you. Listen, are you listening? Are you listening? Yes. Are you here with me? Yes. Good. Though it was not so good. Are you awake? Anyone sleepy? Oh my God, that was a very, very feeble no. Say, are you sleepy? No. Very good. So let me disclose this secret formula. And this secret of formula is the secret of leading a happy life. Leading a happy life, a contented life. Are you ready to listen? Yes. Okay, here is it. To enjoy life fully, you have to renounce renounce. You have to renounce. You have to sacrifice. You have to let go. Anything. Suppose you are sad over something. I mean, you fell in love with a boy and he left you. And you are still clinging on to that person. And how do you become happy? Tell me. How do you become happy? How do you enjoy life? Let go, right? Let go. Correct? Say that. Together. Let go. Renounce. Simple example, right? If you are still clinging on to that person, dreaming about him, thinking of all the things that you did together, and whenever you see the park, whenever you see a flower, whenever you see a pen, whenever you see a pencil, whenever you see his seat, the classroom, the bench, you become sad, depressed. Then you go to see a psychiatrist. Poor family members, poor parents. Still, you are most important person in the family. It has to be otherwise. The parents have to be most important, because without the parents, you don't have a life. You don't have good education. You don't have a good house. You don't have good food. You don't have good clothes. But still, you consider you to be the most important person. I am the VIP. Make them the VIP. So, to enjoy life, you have to renounce. Our scriptures say, Tena tyaktena bhunjita. Renounce and enjoy. I gave you a very simple example, right? Okay. A good analogy, a good example. I will give you yet another example. Just listen carefully, okay? Now, attempt to hold air in your hand. Both hands up. Try to hold air, not hair, air. In your hand. Close your eyes, close your hands. Fist, clench your fist tightly. Okay. Is there any air inside? Is there any air inside your fist? I mean, inside your closed fist. Yes or no? No. And now, if you simply try to hold air in your hand, there is no air. As soon as you tighten your grip, the air escapes. Correct? The tighter you clench your fist, the less air you hold, until in the end there is no air left. Loosen your grip, and air will rush towards your open hands. Correct? Correct? Yes. There is always air in an open hand, but from the closed fist, it flees. So one who keeps his hand open has it always full of air. It is never empty. Every moment, the air is fresh. Have you ever observed this? An open hand is never empty, and a closed hand is always empty. And if a little air, maybe there is little air inside the closed fist, it is stale. Correct? It is stale, old, decayed air. Close your fist for 5 minutes and smell it. So only they can enjoy life who renounce. Many things in life are like this. Enjoy through renouncing. And we learn many lessons on love, loyalty, humility, and truthfulness in our childhood. In almost every single house, we hear parents telling their children, son, daughter, don't ever lie. Don't ever lie. Always tell the truth. Be fair to your brother, your sister. Don't take that laptop, that phone, it is your brother's, it is your sister's. Be honest, and so forth. But as we grow older, society and the people around us, the people we associate with, lead us down the slippery path of taking advantage of others. Thus we get the false idea that life's winners are those who deceive others without getting caught. The more cunning you are, the more successful you are. And society also teaches us that to be loving and compassionate is dangerous. Don't be loving, don't be compassionate, it is dangerous. Don't help that person, dangerous. I recently read a book written by an American businessman. He recalls an interesting childhood incident in that book. The name of the book, if you want to read it, Winners Never Cheat. He is one of the richest in the United States. Winners Never Cheat. It's one of the best sellers. So, when he was a child, little boy, a few blocks away from his house, there was a small grocery store. The owner of the store, an elderly lady, stayed just behind the shop. And one day, when he was only 10 years old, he happened to pass by that store and noticed that there was no one around. It was a time when ice cream sandwiches had just come to the market. Do we have ice cream sandwiches in India? Ice cream sandwiches, do we have that in India? Yes or no? Yes, okay, so you know what ice cream sandwich is. So this was the time when ice cream sandwiches just came to the market, and it was a hot day, and he wanted to try one. And he stealthily entered the store, and from inside the small freezer, he grabbed an ice cream sandwich. Quickly, he slipped this wrapped treat into his pocket. Just then, the owner of the shop, the elderly lady, walked into the shop. Are you listening? Okay. Seeing the boy there, the elderly lady, the store owner, asked the boy, "John, can I help you?" Heading towards the door, he answered politely, "No, thanks." And he was just about to open the front door when the lady asked, "John, are you going to pay for that ice cream sandwich?" He was utterly embarrassed and sheepishly walked back to the freezer. With shaky hands, he returned the ice cream sandwich back to its rightful place. Though he met the elderly lady several times after that incident, she never said a word about what he had done. And the author says it was indeed a necessary lesson for me. I have never forgotten that lesson until now. So even as little children, we get to know that it is wrong to take that which doesn't belong to us. Correct? So here is a short practice exercise for you to try. Before you do anything, close your eyes. Just for a few seconds. Close your eyes and have a silent, meditative, private conversation with your own conscience, not with the mind, the inner conscience. Just close your eyes. Be meditative, like when you pray. Concentrate and ask, am I going to do the right thing? Or is it wrong? And now, if your conscience ever tells you no, prevents you from doing something immediately, say no. Don't do it. So I'm just cutting down the talk because, So, Amma says, there was a time when we were all small children. We grew up to become young men and women, and thereafter old age comes. All those various stages of life, childhood, youth, etc., came and went away. If you look at your own picture as a baby, will you recognize? Everything has changed. It is said that every 7 years, 10 years, the entire cells in your body get replaced. So you are not you. Keeps changing. So everything is changing. All those various stages of life, childhood, youth, etc., came and went away, appeared and disappeared. Nothing was permanent. Did they ask your permission? No. It came and went away. But you say, my childhood. Who are you to claim? It just came. If it were under your control, it would have waited. It never waited. Physically, when we went through, this is Amma's saying, correct? Physically, we went through many changes, through these constant changes. Don't you think that there was something, there has always been something that remained unalterable? What do you think? Yes or no? Through all these changes, don't you think there was something that always remained unchangeable? Yes or no? It's not enough strength. Don't you think that there is something threading all these different phases of life? And now consider each of these stages of life, such as childhood, youth, and old age. Now consider this as like pearls, like beads. Childhood is a bead, just one bead, okay? Youth is another bead, and old age is yet another bead. And if they are pearls, what strings them together and makes it a beautiful necklace? Don't you think that there has to be something common, a common thread that strings all the various pearls known as childhood, youth, old age together like a necklace? Suppose there is no such string. There is no such string. An invisible common thread that connects all these phases of life, the so-called pearls, together. Then what happens? Only the pearls exist. Only the beads exist. There is no togetherness. There is no oneness. You don't feel any connection with you, with your blood relatives, your friends. They will all remain totally isolated, disconnected, each face hanging separately. If so, there shouldn't be a necklace, only scattered pearls. Nevertheless, we see a beautiful necklace, right? We see a oneness. We see a connection. Even modern science says that if a blade of grass moves on this planet Earth, the vibration is felt in a star light years ahead. Light years beyond. A small blade of grass here. What do you call this network? The computer network. Is it your laptop? Is it your desktop? Is it your phone? It's a web. It's a web of hundreds of thousands of devices continuously, seamlessly interacting. A web. That's what Amma says, internet. So seeing this oneness of life and working together as a team with courage, selflessness, and love is what takes us to greater heights. And that's what Ayudh stands for. Say, Ayudh! Ayudh! Once more, Ayudh! Good. So now, as an inspiring example, such as Amma can certainly help us attain greater heights in life. Because in her presence, when we are connected with her, associated with her, we automatically change. Effortlessly change. Because this towering personality, such an inspiring personality, her presence makes it absolutely certain that there is much more within you than you ever dreamt of. You talk to these researchers, the PhDs who came from all over the world. There are over 400 PhDs, scientists who came from abroad. Talk to them. So it gives that association, that connection with Amma gives us a glimpse of our possibility. So Amma helps us think big, do big, and become big. And we learn self-management and management of external circumstances under the able leadership of Amma. It is said that friendship is a network. Friendship, this is a network. Ayudh is a network. No recharge, no roaming, no validity, no activation, and absolutely no signal problem. Just don't switch off your heart. That's Amma. Never switch off the heart. Just remain connected. Finally, but most importantly, if you want such a friend, the best guide you can ever have, Amma is here. Amma is here everywhere, always available to help you, bless you, and guide you along the right path. Om Amriteshwariyai Namaha. Now say along with me, Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Om Amriteshwariyai Namaha.